All right, this week's supplemental materials are going to cover how to create storyboards. They are going to cover the conventions in storyboards and the formatting, different ways of thinking throughout the storyboards. There are three basic links and then a short video that describes storyboards here. Now, I don't expect you all to be storyboard artists. In fact, I expect almost none of you to be storyboard artists. The drawings that I'm going to expect out of this module is basically stick figures. So don't get caught up in the drawing. What I don't want you to do is to be drawing inside the computer either. I will talk more about that later. But just think of these storyboards as simple visual ways to communicate your central idea. So I'm going to jump over to the storyboard assignment here. It's a 50-point assignment. It's due March 31st, so you have a couple weeks. You're going to be finishing up your creative brief this week, submitting it on Sunday, but you want to start working towards the idea of your boards here. And again, don't procrastinate because this is going to take significant time to develop. The most important part of this class is, in fact, creating a story that actually works. So that's going to save you a tremendous amount of time once we get into the final project and creating the commercial inside of After Effects. So, as I said earlier, we have a 50-point assignment here. And the number of panels within the storyboard doesn't really, we're not going to be counting panels within the board. We want to keep it short. That's not to say that one story or one student might have 5 pages of panels, and there are going to be 6 panels per page, where another one might only have 2 pages of panels, so a total of 12 boards or frames within their storyboard. There is no set count, but what you're trying to do is, as quick and simple as possible, create the minimum amount of frames within a board that can communicate your idea. And again, we're always pushing towards that communication of an idea. So we're going to start with our creative brief. You created a message within your creative brief. Now, you might have elaborated on that a bit. I want you to go through and reflect on that simple message, and I'll show you an example of this in a bit. And basically, I'd like you to narrow it down to a simple idea or set of ideas. So in this case, I've given several examples here. Spotify, your music on the go. Peapod, fresh, healthy food delivered to your door. North Face, activewear for the adventurer in all of us. Make-A-Wish, granting dreams to hope and of hope and strength. These are simple ideas that can create a whole 30-second commercial. I'm going to work with Spotify in this particular example. So jumping over to step 2, what I want you to do is break down that message. Spotify, your music on the go. Break down the statement into simple images. So I'm just gathering images, dozens and dozens and dozens of them. I'm going around the internet. And what says Spotify? Well, these are the images I came up with that say Spotify. The second part of that, though, is your music on the go. What does on the go mean? Well, first of all, your is a personal kind of statement. So it's going to reflect the kind of person that we imagine ourselves or others, our audience, to be. So in this case, I'm using these as my idea of what Spotify would look like visually. And these would be the kind of things that I would think I would want to represent within that music on the go kind of condition. And I am not saying, oh, this is a bad image or this is a good image. I have gathered hundreds of images. I have narrowed them down for this assignment's sake. But while I'm gathering them, I'm working with ideas. And as soon as you start saying no, you're in edit mode and you are losing the potential to assemble the right sequence of images. I assembled these, and so I'm saying Spotify visually and your music on the go. These people are simply listening to music or giving the impression that they are listening to music. And you're going to take these images then, and you're going to create a string of new images, almost like a visual sentence. So I took this logo for Spotify, and I'm adding this image to that. So, and I'm giving a location in this particular case. Now, I didn't have that up here, but I felt it was necessary to kind of give the overall idea that Spotify, music on the go, I am running, but I didn't like the idea of running in the city. I want a more peaceful, tranquil, I'm at one with the world kind of notion here. So I picked the beach. So Spotify on the go while chilling on the beach. That's the kind of idea. But I am not going to come up with just a singular idea. I'm going to create as many as I can within the time frame I'm given. Now, for this assignment, you need to basically create 6 of these, and I will show you examples of that in a bit. But you need to take the images you collect, and you need to create a visual sentence such as this: Spotify running beach, or give a location, but Spotify on the go. And you need to create 6 or more of those variations. You're then going to take those variations in step 5 here, and you're going to test them with friends, relatives, significant others, co-workers. It really doesn't matter. Strangers. They're as good an audience as anyone, if not better at times. And you're simply going to show them one sequence of pictures at a time and ask them what they think. You see, the idea is that we are preventing ourselves from being too vested into any one of our own designs or any one of our own ideas. We want to get the feedback from others on what they're saying. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking each of your visual sentences, showing strangers, groups of people, at least six different times, and asking them what this sentence means to them, or what this visual line of communication says to them. So maybe they say, Spotify running from the city to the beach. All you need to do is document that down for that individual. Document the individual, document what they say. Then go to the next sequence or the next variation of the visual sentence that you'll create and ask them what that says. And you will ask for each sequence of visual sentences here, you will ask them, or 6 different people. So you're going to have 6 sentences, visual sentences, and you're going to ask 6 people what each of those 6 sentences basically means to them. And all you need to do is document it. This is a discovery phase. Is the idea that you're representing here visually working for you? Because if they said Spotify while drinking coffee and spilling it on the beach, if that's what they said, then I realize I'm doing something wrong, or this sequence of images is not really saying what I need it to say. So maybe I need to find something better in that visual sense. This is all going to lead you into your storyboards. So that's step 4, and that's step 5 of the project for storyboards. From there, you're going to be using this storyboard template. I'm just going to open it up here real quick. All right. You're going to download this template. You're not allowed to use another template. I want 6 frames. These are built for 16:9 aspect ratio. That means they're 16 units wide by 9 units high. And that could be inches, feet, whatever. But these frames here are important to maintain. Down here, you're going to write a brief description of what's happening in the frame. Now, you're going to want to go back to that supplemental reading and materials to kind of get an idea of how you want to build these frames. But I'm going to expect that you're going to have a title for each page and a page number. Now, you're going to probably start with just page 1, 2, 3, 4. But before you submit this, I want you to add in a page 1 of 2, 2 of 2, and then it'll be 2 pages. I'll understand that very easily. Also, each frame or each page should have a title. It should be the same title In this case, I've been talking about Spotify, so I'm going to say Spotify Music on the Go. Maybe that's my title, or maybe I'm just going to call it Spotify. That I'm loose on. As long as you fill that in with the same information for each page, that's going to be great. So in each frame, you're going to use as simple a drawing as you need to. Again, outside the computer. You're going to download this. You're going to print out as many as you need. I would suggest a minimum of 20. That way you can throw some out after you decide, well, I didn't like the way I drew that or whatever it is. But again, anything that's done inside the computer will get a 0 for this assignment. Okay, so please understand that. Again, you will be sketching pen, pencil. I suggest pencil when working with this, and sketching outside the computer, and then we will later scan these into the machine. So there's your storyboard. That template can be downloaded right here, and it basically describes what I've just told you there. These are more or less the criteria here. Most of it I've already discussed. And then we talk about the general submission ideas. So that's your assignment, and in a bit here I will talk a little bit more about how to integrate both your design brief into your storyboards.